Can't see it starting over again. And all along we know it's wrong, but we're not quite setting behind. Tell me if you're awake. Can I talk to you again? Tell me what's a mistakes that have made us only friends. Now I notice how you don't stay anyways.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Araya SimSpeedShop Cup Series. We're live here at Pocono for race number 9. This is the Pocono Pines 200. I am your lead announcer, Ernest Sleppy, and joining me as always in the booth is Ken Kushwa and executive producer Harold Darner. How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? There's our beautiful pictures.
Yep, and there's all of our Twitter handles you can follow us on. I got about less than 9 minutes left in this practice session, but very excited to be at Pocono once again. I was in Monday night for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, and that was a doozy of a race in itself. It seemed like it was going to be fuel mileage, but it wasn't at the very end. Then we had a little bit of an interesting situation happening with the trucks last Tuesday night. Harold, Ken, you guys were there for that. There was a absolutely ginormous wreck that I don't think we'll see tonight, or at least hope we don't see tonight.
If we see it tonight, then clearly someone's blacked out while they were driving. Go to this.
And here it is.
Just a major wreck coming out of turn 2, the tunnel turn. This ended up getting 25 trucks collected. Apparently 5 of them were upside down. One of those being the rainbow cars, the number 5. And I mean, that was just absolute chaos there. And that was at the very end too. They were coming to 5 to go, and there you see that treacherous tunnel turn there, turn 2. It's gonna be quite a factor to keep an eye out for tonight.
So it turns out that Garrett Grant was just actually going to find out if he could find Michael Leip up in space, who got launched the week before. So really, he was just trying to do a favor. That's all.
Yep. Well, you know, the funny thing about it is we had discussed this a little bit during the broadcast that, you know, this is considered a super speedway, but you think of the big one, you think Talladega, Daytona. That was probably the biggest big one we've had in our area history.
I was going to say that was probably the biggest wreck in the history of the league. That collected 25 trucks involved. I don't think we had nowhere near the amount of cars involved in a wreck like that at Daytona. And speaking of Talladega, this is where we are going to the next week for all 4 series. We're going to Talladega. It's going to be 3 races down after tonight's done. 3 races down until the playoffs start. And who knows? We could see a wild card winner at the Super Speedway. Let's go and take a look at your point standings real quick, just to show you who's currently locked in. Those in green you see on the left, they are locked in. They have won a race. Those in yellow are currently in, but not guaranteed a playoff spot at the moment. And then those in red, you see, are on the outside looking in. Those being Delonte Ballard, 10 points behind Tyler Hallman, and then Scott McClendon, 17 points behind Tyler Hallman. And then those below them, Ryan Honeycutt and Brad Slaughter, currently not eligible to make the playoffs as they have missed too many races.
We were just talking about Mr. Honeycutt just a little bit ago. Yeah.
We were. It's a shame that we've lost him. There's Mr. Elwood doing a beautiful spin in the pit lanes. Following him for a moment.
So just behind those two, and you can't see it, and he's not locked in because he missed too many races either. It's the one of Nate Trito. He's right behind those two in the points, although he's only been to 4 races. He's won 2 of them, those being back-to-back, winning at the Daytona Road Course, and then last week in the Southern 500, in which that race went caution-free. I'm looking to see, yes, he is in the lobby. He's currently 4th on our practice chart. Boys, does Nate Trito go ahead and make it 3 in a row?
Well, one of his competition isn't even here right now, and he's not going to be here. So, yes, he does.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, DW used to say Pocono was the one oval that raced like a road course. Because there's shifting involved.
Yes, there are shifting. There is some shifting involved. And before the track reconfiguration in about 2012, I'd say, there used to be little rumble strips throughout turn 2 and turn 3. So I guess that would give it somewhat of a road course feel for drivers hitting those rumble strips. But yeah, you speak of drivers having to downshift. Where would they downshift, Daryl?
Well, I think the current car, I was doing some laps, and not too certain that they would, but definitely turn 1 has the capability because you have to get off that right at the top. You're going to come down. I was doing some practicing earlier. We heard a little shifting yesterday, but I think with a new because I was going back with DW talking about way back when they used to shift all the time, but the new transmission packages don't normally see shifting here at Pocono much anymore. I know when I'm here in the Indy cars, which we have 6 gears, there is shifting going on in turns 1 and 3. You just full send it in 2, though.
Remember, Jeff Gordon was one of the big shifters when he first started out at Pocono. If I remember him correctly, he would talk about it all the time. So,
yeah, but I think the current transmissions they use and the gearing, and that the 3 is not tall enough basically to help out. Like, so 4, you'd lose too much getting back in. But we saw people saving fuel and stuff. Then you might get into that stuff. We saw clutching going on last night with David Weisser. You could actually hear the engine, you know, basically just idling as it took it through the corners. So we'll see some of that stuff tonight.
I was going to say, we do have a tendency of races going green long enough to where we have green flag pit stops, some of which going green to the end. And I want to bring this up because we haven't had a caution for a race incident since Nashville. That was race number 6. We're on race number 9 of the season now, because race 7, that was the Daytona road course, and there were no specific yellows thrown for incidents, just that halfway caution on lap 20. And then we had the Southern 500 last Thursday night, and there was not a caution in that race. And for me, the last race I did, which was Monday night, the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, that race also went caution-free. So, guys, do we see a caution tonight for anything, really?
Well, 15 trucks, or 15, see, I'm going to say trucks because it's Tuesday night, but 15 cars on the racetrack, and it could go 5 wide in turns 1, 3, and on the front stretch. The only place that can't happen is turn number 2 in the tunnel turn, like we saw with just the clip with the trucks, that getting side by side in 2 can be very dangerous. As you guys were watching me throw the car around during practice, that it's kind of treacherous being on the outside because you really want to be there with your left side tires hitting that yellow strip going through the tunnel turn.
Absolutely, and we like to see it, or we do see it on the initial start and then sometimes on the restarts whenever drivers cross. As soon as they cross the line, that's free game. You can go as low as you want. We've seen drivers go all the way down to the inside pit wall, as you can see right there. That's just how far it is.
Yep.
We're taking a look here at Dave Weishart as he's coming on the pit road. Weishart won last night's Lodge Box Series race on fuel mileage. So looking to see if he can make it 2 in a row. And there's Eric Weiland, the driver who was calling last night's Lodge Box race.
Yeah, I'll give you a little, let Eric Weiland kind of show us around the track here as we're coming into turn number 1 here. You hear the engine, see the RPMs dropping down as he's taking that second groove around this corner. All the way up against the wall. Looks like he thought he was a little closer than he was.
Got him on the chase cam. It's a great view going down this long stretch, watching Weiland.
And then see here how he's going to try to get all the way to that yellow line. So there's not much room on the outside for a car. So that's going to be watching turn 2. All night, turn 2. And another thing we've been seeing all week, Hunter, is getting onto pit lane, which is one of the easiest pit lanes to get onto, as Weiland's going to actually show us. Look at this. It's like he's listening to us or something.
I think he is listening to us, but I was in Monday night, and there were a couple instances during the race and after the race even of drivers trying to get onto pit road. One of those being Jordan Hurley, who accidentally hit the barrels as he was coming onto pit road after the race was over. So pit road could be a treacherous place.
Was that?
That was Monday night. That was
Yeah,
Monday
he did it
night.
Tuesday night too in the trucks, just so you know.
Yeah. He took out,
man.
but he actually destroyed
2
the truck
minutes,
Tuesday
42
night.
left.
He did. He crammed those barrels right at the end and spun around, and he was done.
Well, hopefully we don't have any issues of drivers getting in pit road. As last week we were at Darlington, and that's one of the more difficult places to get on the pit road. So to see drivers having issues getting on the pit road at Pocono, that's really, really alarming and something we'll have to keep an eye on. Just like the 18 of Danny Ware. He's pretty high up in the points, although he doesn't have a win. I think he's the first driver in points without a win, the highest, I mean. If I'm looking at it right now with the way everything is, he's fourth in the points. He's got 0 wins on the year, but he has a good stretch of top 10s. He's got 7 top 10s in the 8 races that he's been a part of, along with 2 top 5s, and he's only 26 points behind Davey Hendricks, who's still your points leader as we run. As he comes off turn 3. What turn 4? There is no turn 4. We're going to take a lap around the racetrack just to show you the different turns at Pocono, because this is unlike any oval we go to. It's in the shape of a triangle, and each turn is different. So we head into turn 1 right here. This turn 1, it's after a racetrack that currently doesn't exist anymore. It used to be Trenton Speedway, so this turn was modeled after Trenton Speedway, which was one of the more unique tracks. Go figure. There was a right turn on the backstretch, something that is not seen anymore. And then here we are going into turn 2, and this one is shaped after Indianapolis. So Indianapolis, all 4 corners are the same. That is what the tunnel turn resembles. And then we get into turn 3. Turn 3, it's a long left turn. It is after the Milwaukee Mile, known for its wide turn and wide lanes of racing. And then you come off turn 3, what turn 4, and then down the Long Pond straightaway. And that is a lap around Pocono, and Danny Ware just went to the top of the chart with that.
Isn't the Long Pond straightaway between 1 and 2?
They're all long straightaways.
No, I was talking about the Long Pond straightaway is turn between 1 and 2. The front stretch Long Pond and then the short shoot. That's what I understand. Maybe I'm wrong.
All the straights to me are Long Ponds, because we are in Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they just they
I
thought
try
they
not
each
to
had a
figure out
name.
which one's which.
Well, it keeps me not being confused. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, we got people that correct us all the time in that Twitch thing over here.
Yeah, they're asleep right now, so we don't have to worry about that. Nobody's really paying attention right now.
Our Twitchers, they're quick to call us out, guys.
They are.
Yep, and there you see, there you see on the bottom right of your picture there, just getting to it now for the first time, it's the track map. Because this is such a big racetrack, this is 2.5 miles in length, I have a track map here, and you see the car we're focusing on right now, Delonte Ballard. On that bottom right, he's highlighted in that purplish color, just to give you an idea of where the camera is at the moment. And then you see, of course, all the other white circles are cars on the racetrack, and you can get a good glimpse of where those drivers are.
I am currently following Nate Trito. I want to see what kind of run he gets on his qualifying. He's now coming through turn 3 fairly high.
Yep, they want to go all the way up there so they can get the most off the corner on that initial. You want to get all that speed. So you sacrifice the exit or the entry, and to get the exit speed that you want before you take that flag for your hot lap. Monday night and Tuesday night, we saw the second lap being the fastest. Last night, it was lap number 1. So keep an eye on that.
Speaking of the fastest lap, that would be Alan Elwood for the moment. He's got the fastest lap with the only lap time in the 53. So 53.905, currently the time to beat.
He was fast in practice.
Oh,
Just touched
And-
the wall there.
Yep, you saw the one of Nate Trio there hitting the wall coming out of the tunnel turn there, turn 2. And just to reiterate, if you hit the wall in any way, shape, or form on any lap, that lap time does not count. And that was his first lap, and it will not count. So he'll only have one go at it on lap number 2. So we just want to remind everyone watching that tomorrow night, Area iRacing will be hosting a charity event. It will be at USA Raceway. And there you see on the screen, it will give you a QR code to donate to the American Red Cross, as that is what the charity race will be on for, as we're already closer. We're over halfway our goal of $1,000, and anything above that is eternally grateful for us here at Area iRacing. Is 100% of the proceeds will be going to the American Red Cross for those affected by the recent events that unfolded in Kentucky, Illinois, and all the other states that are involved in that massive tornado or thunderstorms. So tune in tomorrow night. We'll have 60 entries for the race at USA Raceway. Each entry is $5, and of course that $5 goes to the American Red Cross. So 60 entries available, 24 make it to the main event, and really you're just here to have a good time and raise some money.
There you go. On a great track, and watching them run on dirt, that'll be fun.
Absolutely. We'll have more info tomorrow night, but you can also check our website, www.areairacing.com, in the chat for more info on when it'll be run and what will be run.
And basically the street stocks. So basically think local track racing with dirt. So your Friday night racers, Saturday night racers at your local home track. USA is a track that's no longer there, if I remember right. It used to be in Lackland or Lake City, Florida, one of the two. Lackland, I think. But it's not there anymore. The drag strip is still there, but not the track itself. It was scanned in, and iRacing decided to test the dirt model on USA, so they threw dirt on it so we could play in the dirt when it first came out. And the street stocks were also made for that mod when it came out many years ago. So iRacing has now given both the track and that car with your subscription. So they chose those two combinations so that no one had to actually go out and spend extra money on subscriptions. Ken's starting to understand a little bit more about that with iRacing.
It ain't cheap, I know that. I'm finding that out. I'm finding.
Nothing's cheap anymore, Ken.
Man, oh man.
Well,
I'd like a track. Well, pay me $15. Okay.
Just wait. And we got new cars coming out.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm currently seeking sponsors, so I don't have to pay for all the tracks. So anybody who wants to help Ken learn how to iRace, you're more than welcome to buy my tracks for me.
Well, right now, you gotta get Ken out of rookie, so he'll be in the actual street stocks, which rotate between USA, Charlotte. There's 4 tracks they go to. I'm trying to remember all 4 of them. No, Charlotte's one, and USA is another.
Charlotte, I got. I don't know about the other tracks, but I
all
definitely have
the rookie tracks are included in the service. You don't have to buy anything else to play at your official level to get out of the rookies. Well, once you move up to ARCA, then the tracks start to get pay to plays start showing up.
As you see on the racetrack, the one Nate Trio, he's already put in the amount of laps that you can put down that'll be counted, and that's gotten third with a 54.014. So really, the rest of the laps are just practice laps for him. Still, Alan Elwood currently on the top of the chart. You see on your screen right now, Eric Weiland coming down across the start-finish line. He's currently 8th on our chart right now. I believe that was his last lap, and it is as he pulls down. Still currently 8th, 54.257, and everyone has gone out and put down a qualifying lap.
It was just interesting because I was messing with the service earlier, and I believe I was in the low 55s. These guys are second faster. Elwood, Weishart, and Trio second and a half faster than I was putting down. See, that's why I stick to those cars without fenders.
Ah,
I
cars
was gonna say, I
without fenders.
believe your lap time was a 56.312.
What? That was one of the laps I did, not my fastest.
I think that was the fastest lap.
56.
What was that?
Your fastest might have been a 56, but it ain't as close as these guys.
Ah, y'all killing me here. Making it. Definitely, I'm not. I have not messed with these cars in quite a while. So I want to get in a car that turns. You know, yeah, I turn that Indy car and it actually goes where I tell it to go.
Well, as we take a look at our starting lineup, the pole sitter definitely had that same feeling you had in an IndyCar, Harold, because your pole sitter is Alan Elwood. He turned the fastest lap, and he's on the pole. And alongside him on the front row was last night's winner, David Weisser.
You got Nate Trito in the 1 starting out on the row 2, and Danny Ware in the 18 on his outside.
And row number 3, we'll find Tyler Hallman in the 52, and alongside him, Garrett Grant in the 5.
And then Garrett Heath in the 23, and then Eric Weiland on the outside of row 4 in the 12.
Row 5 got a couple of new drivers here tonight. Zachary Taylor in the 24, and alongside him the 16 of Joshua Kanata. And excuse me if yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if that's the right pronunciation. So if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Jacob Bell in the 77 on the inside with Mr. Ed on the outside in the 64.
And then row number 7, we'll find Blair Patterson in the 91, Davey Hendricks in 14th, and then last but not least, got Delonte Ballard in 15th. And that is your field for tonight's event. Currently, only 15 cars tonight, got 80 laps ahead of us. So we take a look at Lottie'sTravelWorld.com, providing our weather. Got partly cloudy skies here in Pocono, 79-degree air temp, 82-degree track temp. Humidity 47%, and winds are from the northwest, an ever-changing rate. They were at 11 when I first saw the graphic, but now they're down to 4.
Just keeps messing, going all over the place. And sim time today is the end of November, on the 30th of November, 2021, at 2 p.m. So that's why it's what we're looking at. So should be a little cooler than that, I think, as people in this area.
Snowing at that point in the Poconos.
Yeah, the further north you go, the colder it gets and the snowier it gets. Especially at Pocono, which the track underwent a reconfiguration in 2012, a new stretch of pavement surrounding the Pocono area, and this racetrack, 2.5-mile racetrack, getting a new look, basically being modernized. The tunnel turn has been paved over the years because of how bumpy it gets due to the snow. Just like any other pothole in the state of Pennsylvania, really. The more snow it gets, the worse the pavement gets, and especially with those drivers going over 180 miles an hour through that tunnel turn, it'll start to wear down with the snow. So they've had to repave that a couple of times since its reconfiguration. But there you see along the Long Pond straightaway, as Harold pointed out, new catch fencing was installed after the Casey Kane crash in 2010 to keep cars from going into the bushes. And the inside wall has been pushed closer to the racetrack, one thing that personally I disagree with, but nonetheless, it's part of the reconfiguration and the remodernization of Pocono Raceway. Guys, who you got winning tonight?
Well, I am a terrible picker these days, so I'm going to pick probably, you know what, so I don't feel bad. I'm going to pick the new guy, Zachary Taylor. That way the curse happens. He's a new guy. It'll be all right. So I'm going with Zachary Taylor, using logic.
I think Weishart's going to go 2 for today.
I think Nate Cheadle will go for 3 in a row. Pace car pulls into pit road, and Alan Elwood leads the field of green flag racing here at Pocono.
I was going to say something about Nate Trito, but that just guarantees he won't win now. It's all right.
Nice job, Hunter.
So you see not too much fanning going on as they head down into turn 1. Elwood with the lead. Weishart on the outside, under fire from Nate Trito for the second spot. See the field rolling off turn 1. Long straightaways all the way around. Now they head into the tunnel turn. Now this is a turn where you want to be single file. You may see some side-by-side action, but won't see any more than just side-by-side racing as they now head down the short chute into turn number
Do
3.
anything else, right?
Some great camera shots here. See some battles going on in the back, but back up front, Alan Elwood's going to lead lap number 1. See mostly single file racing. Got a couple of drivers making their move towards the back of the pack. Looks like it was Garrett Grant, or actually, excuse me, Delonte Ballard and Ed Robertson side by side in the back. That's for the 9th spot.
Way
There's
down
some more
there.
side by side action.
Yep.
Towards the back of this, but it's a lot of laps. I mean, you would think 80 is not that much, but it's 2.5 miles, and they're not wide open like they would be at Talladega or Daytona. So these laps will go by pretty quickly. We're talking about just about 50, so about mid-50s throughout a run. And these guys are just going to single file, try to get some of these ticked off before they start getting crazy.
And back in the back here, you got Delonte Ballard, Zachary Taylor, Blair Patterson. They're all bunched up. Whoa, little action right there in the far, far back. Hunter, you can't see this because you're watching the front, but I'll keep an eye on the back. These guys are bouncing off each other back here.
It's like,
But up front, it's a battle for the 4th spot, and now everyone stays tucked in. Go on, Harold.
it was looked like Blair Patterson and Zachary Taylor made contact, the 91 and the 24.
Now this track with the current package that we have with the current Cup cars, as you see battle for 3rd going on, this track really races like a super speedway because it's so aero dependent and it's dependent on that draft where we'll see drivers already starting to break out into packs, if you will, from about I'd say 7th or 8th on back. But speaking of that, Jacob Bell, he just got into the practice session and he just ran the fastest lap. I guess I sensed something was coming. Jake recently was sorry, I'm mumbling my words. He basically couldn't commit to the full practice session until at the very last moment, just put down a lap time. That was 11th, and he's already up to the 8th spot with little to no practice.
Freaking awesome. He must like Pocono. What do you think?
If he likes Pocono, then I don't blame him because I love Pocono. Simply because it's my home track and
Your home track, that's right.
yeah, obviously you gotta show some love for your home track.
Right. David Weishart says that he circles this track anytime it's on the schedule.
Oh, okay. Well, he's currently running 2nd, so I could understand why.
Yep, and he won last night in the Lodge Box Series, but by fuel mileage, in which fuel laps here, let's take a look here. It's currently got 27 to 29 laps here on fuel. So, trying to do the math here. We could see drivers do a 2-strategy race. Could see some do a 3-strategy race with the 3 sets of tires we got.
They're going to divide this into thirds. So that would be 28 laps, looks like. No, 27. 27, 54, and then 54, and then to the end.
Yeah,
So-
you're
Could
not
very
gonna
well
get
do
it
that.
exact, but
Yeah, but that's what I'm gonna start seeing. I say let's look for pit lane to start opening around lap 25.
that's probably
That's around the target lap I was focusing on because I mean it's such a unique racetrack, and I mean it's not like a specific like an even numbers. It's just 25 to 30. Okay, so we got a point. 27 to 29. Those are odd numbers, and I don't like odd numbers. I like even numbers, as the lap count is 80 laps. I think that's a fair even number. But yeah, it's just going to be really interesting to see when these drivers pit because of how big the track is. You can actually pit under green and then come back out right in front of the leader, so you'll never lose a lap.
See, I think what you really don't like is that 29 is a prime number. It's worse than being an odd number. Nothing divides into it.
I would pit on lap 28 or 26 then.
exactly.
But we'll see. If 29, it might be like a person like Weiland that we've seen do some of that hooky dooky but the 28 is probably pushing it because that's like
I'm
my
sorry, what's a hooky dookie?
it's that hocus pocus and hooky dookie. You know that abracadabra stuff that Weiland seems to pull off.
Okay. All right. I'll go with that. Thank you. Sorry, Hunter. I just needed a clarification there for a moment.
I really think that he's got a Gatorade bottle in there and it ain't got Gatorade in it. That's all I can say about.
Okay. All right. Speaking of drinks, Hunter, what are we having this evening, sir?
It's the same one that I have every night. But I was just gonna touch on the last time they went down the front stretch. You saw the top four. They were doing the snake pit or the snake motion. That's trying to break up the draft with the car behind them. We might see it again. Yep, as you see it, they try and break up the draft so the car behind them won't catch up. Because if they just stay straight in the single file line, and especially down this long front stretch, car behind you can really catch up if you're just going straight. But if you're doing the snake, I go left, right a little bit. That breaks up the draft and breaks up their momentum.
Well, it's using that slingshot in turn number 1. So basically get all that momentum, and then they are able to drop underneath you. And this is where shifting might come into play and hug that bottom line and then shoot around you. So they want to basically put themselves in a position where the guy behind them actually stalls and has the same momentum that they have coming off of the corner.
Yeah, and especially when you're doing that through the straights, not only on the front stretch, but on the long pond stretch, you want to have a good tunnel turn, because if you bob a little bit in that tunnel turn, that's really going to set you up recipe for disaster going into turn 3, because then the car behind you have all that draft if you have a little bobble coming out of turn 2.
We saw Cameron Hearn use the inside wall, the pit wall, basically, to help. Basically, he somehow was side drafting the wall, and he was able to pass people on the front stretch doing that. We couldn't figure that one out, and that was last night and Tuesday night. He was definitely making that work. There was Ken, I remember you saying like Cameron left the building and then came back up into turn number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. He disappeared completely the other night. And then all of a sudden, he took the lead out of nowhere. You don't see him until the last second of going into 1, and he jumps right in front. It was a heck of a move. I'll give him that.
So you see the drivers continuing to snake along the front stretch. Should point out that this is the last race we'll be broadcasting for 2021. We'll have a 2-week break for Christmas and the New Year. And then when we get into 2022, the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series will open up the season again at Talladega. And that's where we will go next week, or the next race for the SimSpeedShop Cup Series also.
We'll be going to Talladega, Alabama.
Talladega. That's right, folks. Partying in the infield.
It is a ginormous infield. I actually have ran the track. I did a half marathon there some years back when I was stationed in Alabama. May or may not have flown very close to the racetrack. I won't confirm or deny that.
We'll just say you did.
Yeah, something about helicopters and being, these investigation going on. So we don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No. Let's keep the dark helicopters and all out of this one.
But yeah, it was up here, and Lori got to see the Talladega track because the way they had the half marathon finish, it finished at the finish line all the way, almost in turn number 1 at Talladega. It's a very unique start finish line, as it's all the way past the exit for the pit lane, way out there, and almost just before the banking.
Absolutely, and in the last 3 races that we've gone to, basically last 4 for the SimSpeedShop Cup Series, we had the Daytona Road Course, which that's unlike any other track that we've ever go to because it's a road course. Right. And then Darlington. Darlington was an egg-shaped racetrack because of the pond in turn 4. So it gives it an iconic egg shape. And then Pocono, the track we're at right now, it's a triangle. It's an oval, but it's in the shape of a triangle.
Yep.
And then you mentioned it at Talladega, which is the next race we'll be going to. The start-finish line isn't until after the exit of the tri-oval. It's more closer towards turn 1. So really interesting parts about the current 4 tracks that we're going to be going to.
And Weisser here on the back of Elwood. But I found it very interesting because, part of the marathon was on the track, and, we got to finish at the finish line and go take pictures of Gatorade, Victory Lane and all. It was pretty neat. As Weisser started looking on the inside, he's going to think better against it, I think, get right behind Elwood here. But
he's been running consistent behind Elwood too, so he's not trying anything dangerous right now with all the amount of laps
he
left.
can save fuel where he's at, since we got drafting going on. And Hunter, we talk about the banking, and Talladega is going to be interesting. I've actually stood at the bottom of turn 4 and looked up, and that's not a road, that's a wall.
Yeah, it's pretty steep in banking. One of the more banked tracks that we go to, and Talladega is the biggest oval that we go to, because that's around 2.7 miles, 2.67 miles.
Yeah, 2.66, 2.67, whichever you want to call. But yeah, and it was designed specifically to say that it was the largest track when it was built, and people in Alabama love that place. A lot of campground area in that area. It's in the middle of pretty much nothing between Atlanta and Birmingham, Alabama.
We mentioned about Talladega. The battle for the lead is heated up, because we've seen Weisser try to make a couple of moves. Hasn't quite worked out, and he's just tucked back in line. Yeah, and that brings in Nate Trito. Trito trying to look for 3 in a row. Weisser trying to look for 2 in a row. And Alan Elwood, in his first SimSpeedShop Cup Series start, trying to get his first win. So I was looking through our points, and I don't see him anywhere on here.
Right, Elwood is actually, he was an Xfinity only driver. I think this will probably be his first start here.
Yeah.
So Alan Elwood only running basically the Lodge Box Series and making his SimSpeedShop Cup Series debut tonight. Currently holding off David Weisser, who's trying to get around him, but just can't quite.
He's done well in the Lodge Box Series, hasn't he?
In the second half, basically after the break we had, he's been doing a lot better, but he had a lot of bad luck in the beginning of the season. If we were doing the Sasquatch Award on Wednesday nights, he would have been a recipient of a few of them.
Here we go, battle for the lead. Weisser side by side going into the tunnel turn, and Elwood's going to let him go, so put the 3 of David Weisser into the lead.
And Alan Elwood goes into fuel-saving mode. Or draft mode, so to speak.
Well, in that tunnel turn, you see how he basically gave a little bit of a breathe there. He kind of gave that up to the 3. That way he wasn't being challenged by the 1. It was a good move there, because if he'd have challenging the 3, it would have put Nate Trito in a position to pass both of them.
Absolutely. And you really don't want to be side by side going through that corner anyways, let alone try to force it 3 wide if you're another driver. Best place to be if you're David Weisser, if you will, trying to make a move on the inside. And he's breaking up the draft. Elwood not following his tracks, although now he does, and 3 comes back up.
They're pretty equal cars right now, those 2 cars. Not a lot of difference as far as speed-wise and time-wise, so look to see them keep that the positioning. Nate Trito there in the back of them hasn't fallen off much either. So those 3 are really they're the players now. Danny, where you can see him as he comes around.
Weiland is moving his way up into this group. I saw him back about 2 seconds. He's our 5th place driver in that 12 car, and he's kind of inching his way forward.
Danny Ware, yeah. I'll drop on him for a moment. Keep an eye on that.
And just so I know different games have different where the draft picks in. It's right around 0.8 of a second is where you'll start to feel the effects of the draft. So as long as you stay within that, you're going to get the benefit of it. And then once you get past there, so like Tyler Hallman is a little bit too far back from Weiland to get Weiland's draft. But everybody else is kind of in that bubble, the 1 through 5.
Yeah,
What was that bubble again?
Close enough.
1 through 5. Yeah.
It's a big bubble.
Yeah. Because it could be about, it could get as far as 0.8 of a second and still feel the draft. And now Hallman getting awful close to Weiland, and maybe pick up with them, and then we can have this all lined all back up again. Hallman could bring us a whole bunch of friends.
Been noticing the last few laps here, Alan Elwood is still trying to get that lead back from David Weisser. He really gets a nice turn 1, and then down the Long Pond stretch here, going into the tunnel turn, and then just kind of backs off.
Yeah, you could. I see he could be doing what we were talking about, maybe some fuel saving, and you get up to that deck lid, and then you just kind of back it up a little bit. Let him suck you back up to him, and then you kind of release a little bit, and then you got Trito behind him helping push. So he's in a really good spot if he's trying to conserve any fuel right now.
Nate Trito's closest that he's been since the drop. So, all those 3 guys are going to be playing lead here in just a second. Trito down low.
Trito staying tucked in behind the 49 of Elwood. Weisser continuing to lead. You see, here comes Elwood making a move to the bottom. Going to be side by side down the Long Pond stretch here into the tunnel turn. Trito following in hot pursuit, and the lead will go back to Alan Elwood. He takes the lead right back from David Weishart, who's now got the 1 of Nate Trito on his bumper. Trito in the 3rd spot.
These 3 guys here can continuously play who's going to be in front. Follow the leader.
Yep.
There comes Trito to the bottom, and that brings the 4th and 5th place drivers, Danny Ware and Eric Weiland, closer to the picture. Now Trito looking to pass the 3 of Weishart here, getting the draft from the 49 of Elwood.
Danny Ware
so
got
going to be
a heck of
side
a
by side
straight away.
He brought Weiland right there with him.
Into the corner.
Sure did.
So put the 1 of Trito in the 2nd. Weishart down the 3rd. Danny Ware and Eric Weiland close to the bumper of the 3.
Elwood's starting to stretch himself away from everybody else here by 4/10. Let's see if he continues to keep that gap or starts gapping people more, or if they start to catch up.
They'll catch up. Yeah, I think they'll catch up. I think he got away simply because Trito followed along, took the 2nd position, but the 3's going to try again here, so he'll be able to gap even more.
And you mentioned it, Harold. As soon as drivers go side by side, especially on a straightaway, it brings the drivers behind very close. As you see it again, Weishart now underneath Trito for a second, and this is allowing the leader of Alan Elwood to pull away. And it's bringing the 18 and the 12 of Danny Ware and Eric Weiland close to the battle. So basically, we got a 4-car battle for second, and Alan Elwood's just driving away. Just see there, now it's a battle for 3rd.
There you go, Danny Ware. 2 cars are going to make that bigger air. It's going to pull them even harder. So you see Danny Ware down low. It's going to bring Weiland with him.
There's just different preferred lines going off of turn 2. Looks like Nate Trito's making that high side in the tunnel turn work. He's able to fend off Danny Ware in turn.
Looking to the inside for the 3rd spot. Not going to get it. He might get a run here as they come off of turn number 3. It looks like he's going to stay. Nope. Well, he's debating about it. He's got the 12 of Weiland with him. We're going to see some 2-car tango here at Pocono. A little preview of what we're going to see in our next race at Talladega as they just fly by the 1 of Nate Trito, who falls back to 5th.
Guys are fast down that straightaway.
Weiland pushing.
Yep, pushing hard.
And the 1 going to dive underneath him, going to the tunnel turn here as we're down Long Pond straightaway. 1 looking on the inside of the 12.
Yep, he's looking underneath, but as soon as they go side by side again, the cars in front of them just drive away. We saw Alan Elwood drive away, David Weishart drive away. Now we're starting to see the 18 of Danny Ware drive away.
Yeah, Weiland loves the
going.
Weiland just loves the push, and that's something we're going to talk about next race at Talladega. Is about finding a dancing partner that knows how to push.
Yep.
There goes Trado down. He'll be the
Trado's-
first one on pit lane. This is way early at 22 laps.
You know, I played the strategies in my head of the earliest to pit would be lap 20, but that was just confusing to me. They're like, why would anyone pit on lap 20? But there we see lap 22, Nate Trito, and also the 91 of Blair Patterson down pit road.
Yeah, I think we'll see the guys. The rest of the people come in around 27. I know you don't like that number, but that's about what I'm thinking.
You see Trito and Patterson pitted on an even number, lap 22.
Oh my goodness!
It's
you and
interesting
your
because
numbers. Trito coming
the
off
fuel-
the pit lane.
The fuel run here is 27 to 29 laps. So if this thing goes green, say up until, let's say around lap 60, 65, basically when these guys have to pit again, look at that Trito coming down pit road around lap 50 to 51. And then you would try and stretch it from there if it were to go green to the end. That's the fuel mileage. That's the fuel mileage I had in my head if anyone was trying to do fuel mileage. So interesting to keep an eye on there. But that's if the race goes green to the very end. As it's green so far. Currently working lap 24 of 80 here at Pocono for the Pocono Pines 200. Alan Elwood currently leading the way. He won the pole. Lost the lead a little bit to David Weishart, but got it back. And now David Weishart trying to close him in. We got the 18 of Danny Ware there in third, Eric Weiland in fourth, and how about Ed Robertson in the top 5? Good run for him.
He just slowly sneaks up every race we call. He's there. It's fun to watch Ed Robertson come out of nowhere.
So Ed Robertson's actually in a little pack back there.
Yep.
With Tyler Hallman and Jacob Bell, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So you see right now, he's a little further ahead than the 52 and the 77. Decent run for Tyler Hallman. I saw someone in the Twitch chat guarantee
Hallman.
a top 5.
Yep.
Yep, Hallman top 5, calling it right now. Well, he's one spot outside of the top 5. And very well could have a top 5. Who knows what could happen, though? Still got well over 50 laps to go. It'll be 55 to go when they cross the stripe. Well, that's the one of Nate Trito. So after the leader, Alan Elwood, crosses the line, and then we'll be at 55 to go.
Yeah, Nate Trito is currently entering turn 1 as our race leader comes off of turn number 3. Leaders at the stripe now.
Oh,
Two cars
like pit
heading into
stop there.
pits. Yep.
Weishart and Weiland
into pit road.
with Bell as well. So these guys are going to 25, 50, and they're going to try to. It's not going to work. No 30 laps, I don't think. So we'll see. Let's see if some of these guys go a little bit longer to try to get it in 2 turns, in 2 pit stops. So I think Elwood's working, and Weir, Robertson. We'll see.
It's definitely an interesting strategy because those that pitted Trito and Patterson, they're planning on fuel mileage. They're planning on this going green all the way and trying to stretch it on fuel. Meanwhile, the drivers that are currently in right now, they're currently banking on some yellows to come out, because if they pit again in the
Danny
next
Weir.
27 laps or so, then they'll leave them one set of tires, because I believe at that point they'll be past lap 50. They'll be good to go to the end on fuel, and they'll have an extra set of tires in case there's a late race restart.
Lap 50 is not going to be enough because that's 30 laps. They don't have 30 laps of fuel.
They'll pass lap 30.
So I think Elwood right here, he's looking at the fuel strategy. At 27 laps, he's going to come down. So he'll be 27, 54, which means there's only 26 laps to the finish line. He's working it the best he can. The other guys, I believe, are going to have to stop one more time than he will, maybe for a splash and go, or like you said, maybe they're banking on a caution coming out and kind of affecting all that and like resetting all of the timing of when to come in. But we'll see. We'll check it out. That's what we're here for, right? Watch different racing strategies go on.
Yeah, that's the strategy I see with David Weishart. He's banking on it going green up until the very end, leaving him a set of tires for that late race restart.
Elwood says he can do at least 28 laps.
Came in. Zachary Taylor just came in. I'm watching the pit lane at the entrance, watching him come in.
So 27 laps is where Hallman and Taylor, and that's what I thought we'd start seeing. But I mean, Elwood could, may go 28 or try to push it to the 29 as long as he doesn't run out of fuel, and basically just helps himself out later in giving us some extra laps in case we go green, white, checker.
So we're looking here. The top 6 have yet to pit. Those being Alan Elwood, Ed Robertson, Garrett Grant, Garrett Heath, Davey Hendricks, and Delonte Ballard. You see on the top right, David Weisser, just showing you what those tires can do on an early run, putting up the fastest lap. And there you see Alan Elwood coming down pit road. Would expect some other drivers coming down pit road. Maybe the rest of the top 6 coming down pit road.
Robertson just came in.
Garrett Heath is pushing himself, though.
Yep.
No, Garrett Heath stayed out.
I don't think he led the lap. I think that's why he stayed out, was to lead the lap. Because remember, the first lap you lead is a bonus point. So I think that's what Garrett Heath was trying to do. I don't think he got it. It was close, very close between him and Alan Elwood.
Yep, he
did
did
not get it. And now this all depends on if Delonte Ballard stays out another lap or if he comes in.
But now Garrett Heath could, so there's no one anywhere near him unless Ballard stays out, which I don't think he will. He should get it crossing the line to get to his pit box. We'll see.
Robertson, Elwood all clear, and there comes Davey Hendricks. So pit lane's now empty again.
Yeah, you should get Heath coming down now. Here he goes. Rolling it up. Gets on pit lane, and he should get to the stripe before Delonte Ballard does.
Ballard, it looks like no, he pitted also.
There
So Garrett
is, so.
Heath will lead this lap. There is his bonus point. Looked for a moment like Ballard was going to stay out another lap, but these guys went to the very limit of it, close to that lap 30 mark at lap number 29. And this will cycle the lead back to Nate Trito, who first pitted amongst the lead lap cars.
Yeah, Nate Trito short pitted, so I'm wondering if he's going to do this in, basically quarters it or banking on a caution to change up the strategy. Just felt like he wanted to get another set of tires on the car earlier than anyone else. He's got 7 laps on those tires. He was in for 14.6 seconds, 41 on down pit lane. The best pit stop we had was Blair Patterson with a 40.7 from start to finish on pit lane.
Yeah, and that seemed to help him out a lot. So,
yeah, Patterson currently running in the 6th spot.
Gee, Weisser right there with Trito now. Now, Weisser only has 4 laps on his tires. So there's a 3-lap difference. I wonder how much difference that'll make. We already talked about Weisser having the fastest lap, and Weisser's put down 54s. Nate Trito, 55 seconds his last lap.
Yeah, he's running higher RPMs at this time, Weisser is over Trito.
Just want to point out coverage of tonight's Pocono Pines 200 here at Pocono is brought to you by Northern Capital. We would like to give a big thanks to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series.
Ooh, Trito, really close to that wall.
Yeah, very close to clipping that wall there coming out of the tunnel turn. That's going to allow the 3 of Weisser. Yep, he'll have a room there on the bottom, trying to get past the 1. And mentioned about it earlier, you mess up that tunnel turn, the driver behind you will benefit. And we're seeing that right now as Weisser won't lead the lap this time by, but he's got a good shot at taking the lead as they head down this long front straightaway. Looking like he's got it for the moment, trying to come up clear. We'll see as they head into turn 1.
And they're both jockeying for the preferred line going into turn 1. You saw the 1 basically say, nope, I'm not going to give you the midline. It's mine. You're going to have to take this one all the way around the low side because Weishart wanted to come up a lane to get a better entry into turn 1. But then Trito backs off, gives it to Weishart, puts him up a second. Wineland now into the game, so the top 3 all together here.
Yep, the top 3. Top 3 being Weishart, Trito, and Wineland. Should mention Nate Trito has 3 lap older tires than the 3 of Weishart and the 12 of Wineland. So don't want to push the tires too much because we know how big of a difference that is, older tires and newer tires.
And Alan Elwood with Ware and Bell are in the other group behind these guys, about 4 seconds.
So far, every car still on the lead lap. Every car still running. So we look through the pack. There you see that's the second pack, really. 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're all in your picture. Alan Elwood, Danny Ware, and Jacob Bell. 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack right behind them. See the 91 of Blair Patterson.
Weiland going way inside. Looks like someone's heading to the pit lane. That's Nate Trito.
Oh, yeah, interesting there to look at the one of Nate Trito using the access road through turn number 3 there. Really low as he comes on the pit road. Not really sure what happened there. This is obviously an unscheduled pit stop for the one of Nate Trito. I know we clipped the wall coming out of turn 2 a few laps ago, but other than that, I'm not really sure what this could be.
I'll follow him down here and keep an eye on him. Pulls into his box.
I wonder if he is going to be disconnecting. No, he's getting he's getting tires. No, I'm just concerned
because very interesting call.
He rolled all the way down the pit boxes, and that's usually a no-no. So, and see, he's out. He's left.
He's out.
Yep.
Disconnected.
Yep.
Well, an interesting turn of events there is one of the lead lap cars, or the front runners, if you will, Nate Trito, disconnecting for an unknown reason. We'll keep our minds limited to that and just know that he is out of the race. So very interesting there. Nonetheless, it did not bring out a caution, whatever the case may be. So now I literally jinxed it too. All 15 cars were running, and Nate Trito disconnects. So now we got 14 drivers on the racetrack.
Who did you pick to win? I'm sorry, I just want to revisit that real quickly. Who did you pick to win again?
It sounds like you would know the answer based on your.
Based on me out here, I'm wondering, was it the one car?
I believe it was the one car, and this is why I don't make picks. You guys force me into making picks, and this is what happened.
Hunter, I just think next time you just say Shane Wolf on Thursday
Shane
night.
Wolf every time. There you go.
No, on Thursday night, Shane Wolf.
Don't do that to that guy. I already did it to him again. So.
But Shane Wolf's not here. That's the point. And then the Jacob Bell on Monday night.
Bless his heart, Shane Wolf. Shane Wolf, I picked him Tuesday night, Hunter, after the big win on Monday, and he dropped like a rock instantly. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that to him again.
Yeah.
I believe, Harold, your pick is leading right now in David Weishart.
He's trying to ruin your pick too, Harold. Look at that.
I know. He's like he's going to jump on my car now.
Yeah, he's trying to curse everybody. I don't even remember who I picked anymore. I
Taylor,
picked the guy.
24.
Taylor, that's right.
Yeah, you got the Rainbow Warrior.
Right in the middle. He's doing fine right in the middle.
Yeah, Weiland's getting close there, yeah. So who are you looking for?
I was going to say, let's look on Zachary Taylor, because he and the driver behind him, Joshua Kanata, they are both making their series debut for the SimSpeedShop Cup Series, and it's an interesting paint scheme for that 24 of Zachary Taylor. It's kind of like an alternate to the current William Byron throwback.
No, this is actually one of the paint schemes that Byron ran. Not this year, I think last year. And somebody in Trading Paints did it. So I see he was also given a penalty because he doesn't have our stickers on it. This is something straight off of Trading Paints that he picked up. That's why it still says Byron on the car.
I'm watching on my other feed. He's actually driving the Amico car, which is a good-looking car too. But for some reason, my paint schemes didn't download. So.
So right behind him, that is the 16 of Joshua Kanata, and he's got the 5 of Garrett Grant on his inside.
Yep.
Garrett Grant still running his throwback paint scheme from the previous week at Darlington. This is around the 9th spot on the racetrack. So they're side by side. Then there's Ed Robertson right behind those two.
Garrett Grant's going to make that there in turn 1.
So he's going to get the draft there for the 64 of Ed Robertson to pass Kanata. Or give a little run at it. Didn't quite get it there through the tunnel turn. But we go back up to the front. David Weisser currently leading. Eric Weiland now just a second behind him. Really looking through as you're still looking at the 5 of Garrett Grant.
Garrett Grant's running some good times right now.
Garrett Grant has 4-lap fresher tires than your current leader. See, there he is. David Weishart currently stretching out that lead. 1.1 seconds now over the 12 of Eric Weiland.
So Weishart is on, well, Blair Patterson was on Trito's pit strategy, so he's got 16 laps on his stint. So he'll have to pit within the next 11 laps, and then Weishart and Weiland came in together.
Grant comes up to the 24 and taps him. Ed Robertson slides between.
This is all happening right behind the 91 of Blair Patterson.
It is right behind Blair Patterson. Ed Robertson now underneath Blair Patterson. But the 5 could not hold it through the turn, went up, tapped the 24. 24 went into the wall. Ed split him like meat in a sandwich, and now it's a gaggle, boys and girls, a gaggle of cars.
Well, we got to talk to Blair Patterson on Tuesday night. He was one of the survivors of the melee that happened here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania on Tuesday night, as we showed earlier. And I believe he got he got third, was it right?
Yeah.
And we got to talk to him and his streaming viewers.
So after that situation gets settled, back up front, it's still David Weishart. Now he's pulling away from Alan Elwood. He took over the second spot. And as we look at it, it's past lap 40, so that means we are halfway through. We'll give you our halfway rundown here, presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus in gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. Once again, I'd like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles and their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Pretty swift so far for David Weishart. Hasn't led the most laps, but he's led close to the most laps. He's led the second most laps. He's got the lead right now. He's currently driving away from Alan Elwood. And Weishart's looking to make it 2 in a row as he won last night in the Lodgebox Series. Here's Alan Elwood, who's led the most laps at 24 laps. This is his SimSpeedShop Cup Series debut. He is also in the Lodgebox Series where he does his racing. And he's up in the Cup Series tonight trying to get a win.
We can hear is Eric Weiland, number 12 car, currently in third place. Hasn't led a lap yet, but I think he's our fuel strategy Houdini. So we'll be watching him and see what he can pull out of a hat tonight. And we got Danny Ware, number 18, pretty much been in the top 5 all night.
Yep, Danny Ware having a good run along with Jacob Bell, currently in the top 5. He barely made it to practice. He actually just went through graduation process at FAU. So congrats to our very own Jacob Bell on graduating. And he got in at the very last moment, had a good qualifying lap to start 11th, and he's up 6 spots into the 5th position. So solid run for Jake in the Lodgebox 77. Now we go to our 6th place driver, the 52 of Tyler Hallman. The Northern Capital Machine. He's had a quiet night. He's been close to the top 5. We saw someone in the chat predicting that Tyler Hallman gets a top 5. Could tonight be the night where he does get that top 5? Speaking of the 5, there is the 5 of Garrett Grant, teammate of Tyler Hallman. He's still in his throwback from the previous week at Darlington, but nonetheless, he's had a quiet night. Oh, well, that's not so quiet. It was a close call there very recently, but other than that, it's been smooth sailing for him and Ed Robertson. He was up in the top 5 at one point, so he's close to the bumper of Garrett Grant for the 7th spot, but he's hanging tough right now in that 8th position.
So we have Joshua Kanata in the 9th spot. pretty much been a quiet night, just ticking off his laps. And then rolling out the back of the top 10 is our South Point number 91 of Blair Patterson. You know, all those different sponsors, as you see there in the winner from Waukesha, Wisconsin. And I didn't catch that until he told us in his interview. You know, so he's from, you know, that city became famous because of the holiday issue we had. And, prayers out to Waukesha and those people that are struggling in the holidays based on that holiday parade that happened.
Yeah, very infamous situation there. Hoping for everyone to prevail and be okay through those tough times, not only in Wisconsin, but also in Illinois, Kentucky. It's a tornado and thunderstorms that went through those states along with 4 others. Just an incredible scene of destruction down there in the South. So we head back up front. Got a close battle for the lead now. Alan Elwood's caught up to the bumper of David Weishart. So there you see just in the distance the battle for third starting to heat up between Eric Weiland and Danny Ware. They head off into turn 1. Weishart still got the lead, but really interesting to see where Alan Elwood is making up this time. I believe it might be there through turn 1 as he's got a lower exit and Weishart nearly tapping the wall there coming out of turn 1.
Keep it on the back. The third and fourth here is Danny Ware and Eric Wineland. Ware is caught up to the bumper, made himself a new sticker on the back of Wineland there, but Wineland now pulls away on the shorter stretch.
Yeah, this is probably your hottest battle right now is here the top 2 as we're watching these guys, and in the back there you see Ware and Wineland coming off of turn 3.
Now here comes Elwood looking to the bottom, trying to make a move. Doesn't have the edge for the moment. He might just send it here going into turn 1. And it looks like he's going to do that. Alan Elwood to the inside of David Weishart through turn 1, side by side for the lead. That's probably the best thing for Wineland and Ware to catch up. That's if they're single file. If they're side by side, then they're screwed.
No, they're single file. They're going good.
In the tunnel turn, here's going to be the interesting to watch these guys like pros. Look at that, side by side through the tunnel turn.
Now you don't want to be side by side for too long. It looks like Elwood was trying to close the door, or excuse me, Weishart was trying to close the door on Elwood. We're going to ride on board here with Weishart. You see there the green car to the inside. That's Alan Elwood. You don't want to be side by side for too long because then those two behind, Eric Weiland and Danny Ware, if they're single file, they can catch in quite a hoot and dandy. Wow. Made up some vocabulary there.
Harold, what did you say earlier? We have got the whole new dictionary going on this evening.
49 taking the lead over to the 3 there going into turn 1.
The 18 and the 12, for the most part, stayed there. Danny Ware checked on the inside. He's much better down this long stretch in the back. So they broke up for a little while they were running side by side up front. So
yeah, they saw when they were side by side or when the battle for the lead started. They was at around 2.9 to 3 seconds. It got all the way down to 2.2.
Yep.
And that was just over, I believe, 2 laps.
2 laps. Yeah.
So that much time was made up. When those cars go side by side, just shows how crucial the draft is here at Pocono. So we see, looks like the 24 of Zachary Taylor's on the pit road, but it looks like he disconnected.
Yep, Zachary Taylor is out. So guys, not doing good in the booth tonight.
I was just going to ask, Ken, who was your pick tonight?
I believe it was the guy who just disconnected as well.
I win tonight.
You win by default. That's the only reason. Wow.
Well, we got a little bit over 30 laps to go, so, I mean, anything could happen to the 3 of David Weishart, but amongst our picks that are finishing or one ahead of the other, yes, you would win in that regard if there were picks. Even if Weishart...
Mine took longer to disconnect, Harold.
Okay, well, you got second.
So I technically got second.
Yeah, you got second.
No, it's just terrible, though. Gosh. Hunter, I'm with you. I'm going to pick the guy from 3 months ago or something. I don't know.
I don't think you guys
start picking Honeycutt.
Oh, look there at the top of your screen, a side-by-side battle for the 5th spot. Looked like Jacob Bell was trying to pull down low. He's not close to him now, but it was very interesting to see him go 4 lanes below the 52 of Tyler Hallman there. So he was closer to the bumper that time coming out of turn 3. Not sure what happened there. There you see the 5 of Garrett Grant and the 64 of Ed Robertson there running in the 7th and 8th spot.
Lovely chat between themselves, Jacob Bell and Hallman as well. It's pretty funny.
You can't hit the commish. It's bad.
I didn't say no. They're having fun.
Oh.
No, they weren't saying anything bad.
No.
The guy who just ended his night, he was having a problem. He said he hit the wall hard. That's what happened.
So speaking of fun, things are about to get fun in a few laps because Blair Patterson's nearing 26 laps on his set of tires, and the fuel run is anywhere from 27 to 29 laps. So the next handful of laps, we should see some drivers coming down pit road for what could be their final stop of the night.
They need to get to 54 for it to be the final pit stop. I don't think Patterson's going to get there.
See, there is 64 of Ed Robertson. Closest battle on track, and then another close battle between the 12 of Eric Weiland and the 18 of Danny Ware. These guys have been side by side ever since the top two went side by side. Currently not gaining.
No, they're not gaining on the front two, but they've been fun to watch as far as side by side and how they battle. Danny Ware gets a nice run down the long stretches, but he can't seem to do anything with the 12 car once he gets to him.
Seen some drivers stretch it all the way to lap 29 or lap number 30, those being Garrett Heath and Delonte Ballard. They are on just 20 laps on their set of tires now and fuel. So if they pit anywhere between, well, closer to lap 55, they'll be good to go on fuel. But things are about to heat up. And you mentioned pit road's been an issue all week for these guys. And we came off of Darlington, which was the toughest, at least I thought it was the toughest pit road to get onto.
Darlington is one of them. I think Dover's another.
Dover's terrible, yeah. Even at a slow speed, Dover's hard to get on. I'm just saying, I was practicing on it, and yeah, it's not an easy pit
Here comes
lane.
Patterson.
Yep, Patterson getting on the pit road.
He's going to need at least a splash and go to finish this race.
So we mentioned, you guys mentioned it, Dover and Darlington, two of the most difficult tracks to get onto pit road. Those are very steep bankings through the corner, and you have to slow down at such a fast rate. Pocono, turn 3 is only 6 degrees of banking, so not really sure
Fairly
what the
flat,
issue.
Yeah,
it's really flat compared to those two, so not really sure what the issue may be. Those guys.
When we were talking to some of the guys, and they're saying they forgot to change their brake bias. So if it brakes to the rear, then basically when you hit the brakes, you're not putting all that weight on the front of the car. So you're basically your front tires come off of the surface, and you're on ice.
Tuesday night, somebody was mentioning their brake bias as well. So
as we see, Jacob Bell also went down pit road. He's currently 12th, so he stayed on the lead lap, but Blair Patterson did not. Now the 23 of Garrett Heath comes down pit road.
Yep. So pretty much anybody from here on out can stretch it with fuel. I would say give it about a lap or two for the leaders to come down, with Elwood and Weishart in front of, like you said, the 91 of Blair Patterson.
Elwood stretched it out pretty good the first run, right? So, I mean, at this point, at any time, you see the second place car coming down Weishart now, right?
Yep.
12 of Wineland also dropping off to go down, moving Danny Ware up to second.
So David Weishart and Eric Weiland moving down pit road, and moving up in position is Danny Ware and Tyler Hallman up to second and third. Leader still being the 49 of Alan Elwood.
I like this, though. The 3 to 12 to 64 and the 16 can all make it with fuel with 27 laps. Probably have we know with Elwood, the way he was stretching it out to almost 29 laps, it still will give him a couple laps in case we have to go to a green, white checker as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing here. The longer you stay out, the fresher your tires will be whenever you do come down pit road.
But you're
Here
losing
comes the
time.
91. Ooh.
You're losing time right now. So Elwood is actually giving up seconds to fresher tires.
But on a track this far, I mean, is it that big of an impact? I mean, Weisser and Weiland are 37 and 42 seconds. I mean,
Right, David Weisser, we'll see what he gets on this next lap. But Alan Elwood's last lap was a 56.493. So he's running my times on bad tires.
I'm not going to tell him that. You tell him that.
That's not good. He needs to go faster.
So Hallman and Grant are down now as well.
I don't know if that's bad for him or bad for you.
I'm going bad for him. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, I would just say Harold was on fresher tires whenever he would go out there and put those laps that I saw earlier. But yeah, Alan Elwood currently on lap 25 old tires. They're only aging every lap that he completes.
18's coming down now. Danny Ware's pulling.
The Elwood's last lap was 56.6. David Weishart waiting for him to get around and finish his first lap on his good tires. But I'm going to say it's around 54 seconds. So
Blair Patterson, because he flew by the 49 of Elwood. He was 1.5 seconds quicker than the leader. So just a crucial dividend as to how important the newer tires are. But at some point, they do even out. So you don't want to use them too soon, and you don't want to use them too late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got zero fuel pressure, according to Alan Elwood's screen right now, but I don't know if it's going to show me or not.
If there's zero fuel pressure, then that means we should see the 49 coming on the pit road if he's got zero fuel pressure.
He's coming right now.
You can't see iRacing doesn't show us the exact dashboard that they're seeing, so there's
we'll just roll with it. Zero fuel pressure for the 49, and he's on the pit road now.
He came in, didn't he?
He did.
So I called it no matter what I was right.
If he had zero fuel pressure, he wouldn't have got it this far.
Well, he was coasting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at 180 miles an hour.
You know, Harold, the great thing would be is if you didn't make me sound like an idiot while I'm calling a race. I'm just, just throwing out there.
I'm just trying to let you know, little by little, there's certain things. Look at that, in that right side damage on the starburst.
I was going to say, we haven't talked about Davey Hendricks all night, and he's got damage on the right front, so must have had contact with someone earlier. Nonetheless, that will put the Latte Ballard into the lead, and there you see that was temporary because the 3 of Weishart is in the lead now.
Yep.
He's on the newer tires. Delonte Ballard, 27 laps on tires and fuel.
6 seconds between Elwood. Yeah, 6 seconds difference between the first and third. But to go back to the watching the live dashboards in here, iRacing learned, like we were talking about how we're watching the race, we're doing what's known as spectator or ghost mode. And they didn't want to let a person do that, learn all the tricks of the driver they're watching. So they take away some of the dashboard stuff so that you can't see everything they're doing.
Looks like we're having feed issues on the middle one. Hunter, how's your picture?
I can still make out some of the cars, but it is a little blurry. But nonetheless, I can still try and point them out.
We're here on the iRacing side. So you just let us know if you need to know anything.
You see, Delonte Ballard is currently on the pit road, so there goes his strategy. Well, if there was any strategy there, it's staying out longer. So that puts the 3 of Weishart into the lead, and he's got quite a bit of gap between him and the next car up, Alan Elwood.
It was 6.5 seconds when he came out of pit lane, so it's coming down quick.
Yeah.
But this is pretty much it. 22 laps left in the race. As you see Elwood there with Weiland behind him, and then Ware and Jacob Bell. So everybody's pitted for the last time. This thing goes green throughout. We'll see how quickly Elwood could get to David Weishart and see if David fights with him more, knowing this is, that's it. This is for all the marbles.
Very well could be.
It's a long way down to Mr. Weishart when you're riding with Elwood. He looks like a little dot far, far away. So still a long distance to get to him.
About 5 seconds now, and the last laps, Elwood was 0.8 quicker.
Yeah.
So 5 laps, 6 laps, he'll be on him, and we've got 21 left to go.
It is interesting to see if Elwood has enough time to catch the 3 of Weishart.
I think he's got plenty of time. It's just, is Weishart going to fight him this time? Like the last time, they were pretty much like rolled over for the other guy to not cause any issues. But now this is going for the win here. I don't see Weishart being as courteous with being passed this time. 0.3 separating the two in the last lap.
See the 3 of Weishart. We're sitting at a pretty comfortable margin right now. They'll come across the stripe, and that will put us inside 20 laps to go here. The last 20 laps are brought to you by SimSpeedShop. We would like to give a thanks to SimSpeedShop and their support of the SimSpeedShop Cup Series this season. Racers can visit their website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete your virtual racing setup, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much more. That's www.simspeedshop.com. So we're inside 20 laps to go here at Pocono for race number 9 of the SimSpeedShop Cup Series. The Pocono Pines 200, currently being led by David Weishart, Alan Elwood in second, Eric Weiland in third, the 18 of Danny Ware in fourth, and then Jacob Bell rounding out the top 5.
Jacob Bell under attack.
Yep, he's under attack by the 52 of Tyler Hallman.
Somebody called that top 5.
Someone did call that top 5. Yes, indeed.
So there he goes. This is the top 5 pass right here. Hallman on the bottom, Jacob Bell up top. See if the 77 can get a run. So they're basically dead even coming off turn 3. And here's a great view. This is basically the view that you get whenever you're sitting in the lower section of seating.
Ooh,
nearly
close.
contact being made.
I don't think Jacob knew he was that far down.
Pinching him a little bit, taking away the high line, that entry for turn 1.
I was going to say, that camera angle that we had of them going side by side down the front stretch, that's basically the view that you get whenever you sit on the lower seating portion of the racetrack. As I was at Pocono in the 2019 race, the second race, the last one that I would see, or that anyone would see, really, Jimmy Johnson race at. It's very neat to see the cars, because whenever they're that close to the wall, pretty sure the consensus at home is, oh, well, those fans, they can't see it. But the level 100 seating, which is where the camera angle was, it's so low to the track that that's basically what you would see if you were to go to an actual race at Pocono, in which it's a sight to see. And I mean, personally, Pocono is a great track. You got to go there to experience it. It's such a better experience in person than watching it on TV.
The 18 is now caught the 12 again, so this is a battle for the podium spot in third and fourth right now. This battle's heated up completely.
It's a battle between who wants to talk to us more after the race.
That's it. That's exactly right. Eric Weiland's talked to us several times, so maybe, it's time for Danny Ware. I don't remember talking to Danny Ware this year.
I don't either.
I don't remember, but he's right on his bumper right now, so.
Weiland's locked himself in, so.
Danny Ware's got 2 top 5s this year, but none of which I believe have been in a podium position, as he's side by side there.
Yep.
They're going to be side by side. Going into turn 1, Danny Ware to the bottom of Eric Weiland, and pass will be completed.
Danny has
the 12
long stretch. Sorry, Hunter. Danny has great runs down the stretches.
So we see the gap between Weisser and Elwood's now closed to 3.4 seconds. So we're sitting at around 17. It'll be 16 to go when he crosses the stripe. Does Elwood have enough time to catch Weisser?
About 0.2 is the separation on the last lap. So that would be 5 laps per second at this pace. So
I don't know.
it would be real close.
It's going to be very tight at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he's going to do it, it'll be 2, 3, 4 laps to go. But then again, as Harold said, getting around him, or will he race him harder? Or maybe Hunter said that. But, you know, once he gets there, how much harder is he going to race him when he's there?
Say catching the leader is one thing, but passing him is a whole different ballpark that you gotta get yourself ready for, because you can see the leader making moves, blocking you that you're not quite expecting. Like, you could go all the way to the inside wall, and then you'll find him blocking you to the inside wall. You're like, why is he going down here? Because you can do that at Pocono. I think the front stretch is long enough where you could go 10 wide if you really tried it.
Elwood cutting that last turn 3, a little different than Weishart the last time around. Almost like he goes in high, comes down low, a little lower than he was running in and back out again. So I don't know if that's diamonding the corner or what it is, but it's what it looked like.
I'll say nonetheless, it's eating up the gap between Elwood and Weishart. That last lap, 2/10 quicker than David Weishart. So very interesting to see if he will be able to catch the 3 of Weishart at the very end. Should point out, I think I just did, but I'll do it again. Elwood has 3 lap fresher tires than David Weishart.
And at this point, I think they've actually leavened off, which is why the times aren't changing that much. A couple tenths every lap. It was at first about a half a second a lap. But he can see him.
We can definitely see him.
And I don't know, is Weishart hearing dun 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 dun?
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Exactly.
See, we're gonna have to. Well, Weiland's close again to the bumper of Danny Ware. I don't know if that's just him trying to get up and save some fuel, if he's gonna make a move and pass him for 3rd, but he hasn't let the 18 go away just yet.
I'm going to turn around on the 18 and see what's happening here while you guys keep an eye up front.
And here's a group here with Jacob Bell, Garrett Grant, and Ed Robertson. This is for the
back in 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Tyler Hallman, he's in like his own island. He's 3 seconds in front and 3 seconds in back.
Yeah, he's just floating.
Perfectly balanced in between the middle is the 52 of Tyler Hallman, which currently holds that top 5 spot. So we just saw the 5 of Garrett Grant go past the 77 of Jacob Bell.
So Weiland and Danny Ware pretty much evened out again. Not a lot going on difference-wise. That time, 0.3 of a second on the last lap, so...
Say 0.4 between Weisser and Elwood. Elwood's starting to make up some serious ground here as that gap's closer and closer now to 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's quite a different view now, that's for sure.
And Harold, you mentioned it, around 0.8 of a second is where you start to feel the effects of the draft. So we're not too far from, or Elwood's not too far from feeling that.
Yep. That will definitely be a change here. So he's about 1.3, and he was 0.2 quicker that last time. So he needs about 6 or 7 laps, and that'll put us in about 3 to 4 to go. So
it's heading into turn 1 and 2 where he's really making up some serious time, because he's about to go under 2 seconds down. It's when he hits those turns, he kind of goes in a little deeper. This one here is going to tell us a little more.
So here's your in-car cam of David Weishart. Weishart won last night's race in the Lodge Box Series on fuel. Don't think fuel will be a concern here for the drivers.
That's right.
It's all a matter of tires and how much the tires that you have left.
He made up a lot there on the last turn too. So going into 1 and coming out, and going into 3 and coming out, he's making it up. The little shoot in the back, not so much, but he's definitely making it up coming into this turn here.
gap now 1.7 seconds between David Weishart and Alan Elwood.
Oh, he's smiling. I guess a good thing.
He's got to know he's there, though.
Got some radio communication going on between Weishart and another person. Not sure who, could be Spotter.
The Samson group, there's 5 of them in the lobby right now.
Yep. Something that we'll keep an eye on as this gap continues to close. So when he crosses the stripe, it will be 10 laps to go. Here it looks like it will be between the 3 of David Weishart and the 49 of Alan Elwood.
I'll cut down into this corner.
Got Robertson and Grant. Pretty much the tightest battle right at the moment. See Eric Weiland within that draft of Danny Weir. Go back up to the race leader. 1.4 seconds separate the top 2. 0.3 that last lap in Elwood's favor.
How much of that tire does Elwood have left? And then how much tire does Weishart have to defend?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he makes, man, does he ever make. But see, this is where Weishart gains a little more back is down the long stretch. You get him into turns, and Elwood's, I mean, he's masterful, but
the straightaway speed is definitely there on the 3. It's the corner speed where it's really starting to go in favor of Elwood.
Which that's where the tires are affected.
Yep.
And there you saw right there. I mean, gap closed down 0.2 there through turn 1, and then going through the tunnel turn, I'd say it's about even-ish.
Tunnel's even. I'll give you that. Yeah, I would agree with that. There's not a whole lot there. They just kind of stay even, but it's this next turn, man, does he make up a lot coming off.
Getting close to feeling the draft of David Weishart as we're coming up to 8 to go here.
David Weishart better on that turn that time. Didn't give up as much as he had been.
Well, I was starting to stretch it over Elwood in that last corner.
Yep. That's it.
Maybe he sees, he's like, okay, I don't want him to get to my bumper, so let's go.
Well, this is where he makes up a lot. I mean, he's under a second now, 9/10 off now. Just, man, masterful through that first turn.
So, Alan Elwood's got the better turn 1 car. Turn 2, it's about even, and then turn 3, it's where Weishart has the advantage.
So Weishart has it once he's off and he's hammering it down the long stretch. That's where he's really picking it up. Right now it's 0.8, and this is where we'll see if Weishart changes. And he does change his line, so he's going as low as Elwood is right now, maybe even a little lower.
No, because now Alan Elwood is within range of getting the draft.
And you see, he didn't break it up.
Yep.
He's like, no, sir.
Weishart trying to break it up, although it doesn't matter if he's breaking it up because Elwood's still closing in.
He's going to get him right here.
0.6 of a second as they head into turn 1.
Yep.
Looks like the lap car of Delonte Ballard is just in front of those guys, but he's not in their way just yet. So he's just now getting into turn 2. These guys are just coming off turn 1.
Yeah,
Weishart's still trying to break up the draft, although the speed of Elwood still closing in.
Yep.
They head through the tunnel turn.
Basically telegraphing that I ain't going to make this pass easy.
He's definitely telling him you're not going to get it where you're currently running, that's for sure. Because he'll dive right here and go as low as Elwood, if not maybe a tire mark lower. Now they're both on the same yellow line. So, yeah, he's not going to give it up right away, but, man, does he make up coming off of that. This time
so
he's going to follow him.
Going lower and lower on the front stretch as we have 6 to go now here at Pocono. David Weisser trying to get his second win in 2 days and trying to get a second win in the SimSpeedShop Cup Series. Alan Elwood, Lodgebox Series driver, trying to get his first win in his first start in the SimSpeedShop Cup Series.
So I think the big deal in one, Hunter, seems to be that Weishart can't hold it as low, or he doesn't gain as much coming off of that as low as when Elwood runs down there. But as you can see through here, they're equal, as we've been saying. But that turn one, he just doesn't seem to, when he's down low, he's not getting the same momentum.
If there's a spot where I think Alan Elwood could make the move for the win, I think it's the tunnel turn. And I mean, we saw it earlier where he had an issue, or actually, sorry, Nate Cheetah had the issue, and then it benefited the 3 of Weisser. So we could see that come back to bite Weisser in the butt. However, we have 5 laps to go, and anything can happen within those next 5 laps.
Oh, absolutely.
You said he's playing defense, and Alan Elwood's just waiting for the crack in the armor.
See the difference here? See the difference that he pulls? I mean, he just reels him in. Doesn't matter where his car is in one. Elwood just really comes through it well. But again, Weishart gets that little stretch down the straightaway, does a little more pulling away.
Yeah, Weishart is basically showing him he's not going to give him the inside line for the tunnel turn.
Exactly.
Telegraphing that, and then in 3, he seems to be a little bit better in 3, and then we'll see Elwood basically get right up on his deck lid coming off the 1.
Elwood's got a little lower approach there through turn 3. Nonetheless, Weishart keeping him behind. The lower he goes on the front stretch, the lower the lap count goes. 4 laps now remaining at Pocono.
He's close enough now. This is the closest he's been going into turn 1. So,
and turn 1 is where Elwood is better than the 3 of Weishart.
Laps are ticking away. The 3 and the 49. In a world all by themselves, the next car is 9 seconds back.
Yeah, this is it.
Elwood close enough to where he could attempt a dive bomb going into turn 3. Thinks better of it. Gets closer to that bumper of the 3. We've seen cages being rattled here in the past. Could we see it again tonight?
Nice turn there by Elwood. This is going to give him a lot of momentum down the straightaway.
Yep, 3 laps to go now as Elwood trying to make a move to the outside. The 3 cuts him off. They head into turn 1. And this has been where Elwood has been faster than the 3 of Weishart.
Well, he can get on the gas a lot quicker, it seems.
Well, 3 laps. He's running out of time.
Yeah, that was not as good a turn that time as it has been for him. He gave up a little bit.
They were pretty even last lap.
Yep.
Now they head through the tunnel turn. The 3 of Weishart still holding off the 49 of Alan Elwood.
But 7 turns remaining as he's going to be getting through. This one will be 6 to get on the front stretch here.
See, I really think the only way he's going to do this is throw it harder into that 3rd turn than Weishart at the end. Because right now he's just not getting it.
And a note here. These 2 teams have history. This is VRA and Samson. So this is for bragging rights. So they're gonna give us one heck of a finish.
I gotta say, I don't know if it's helping Alan Elwood to not follow the 3 of Weishart in his draft. Don't know if that's helping him out or not.
Well, he gave up a little more time, so this gap is going the wrong direction for Alan Elwood right now.
Delonte Ballard just hit a wall is what it sounded like, but hopefully it stays off.
We mentioned it earlier, at some point the tires do even up, although Elwood has 3-lap newer tires than David Weishart. They even up at some point. Now, have they evened up? Has Elwood used up all of his stuff? We've only got 1 more lap to find out. The white flag in the air one more time around Pocono.
So 3 turns to make it happen. As we're 1 to go, presented by 1 to Go Studios, the 3 and the 49. A car length separate them into turn number 1.
Alan Elwood trying to get his first win of the year in his first start for the SimSpeedShop Cup Series. David Weishart trying to get 2 in a row. 1 last night in the Lodgebox Series, and he's trying to get his 2nd win in the year in Cup. As they head into the tunnel turn for the final time. Elwood still keeping within arm's reach of David Weishart, although he's running out of time. He's got 1 more shot to try and make a move. Could we see a Louisiana dive bomb for the win? They head into turn 3.
Whoa.
Contact being made. Elwood on the bumper of Weishart.
It's not going to be enough.
It's not enough. It is not enough. David Weisser's going to come off turn 3. What turn 4? He wins once again at Pocono.
I tell you what, he could have if he wanted to. Somebody's car is not happy.
Turn 3 is a spot where we could have seen some cages being rattled. That is not the case. David Weisser hangs on, and he wins the Pocono Pines 200 here at Pocono. Boy, Alan Elwood, he caught him at the very end, but catching him is one thing. Passing him is another. And at some point, the tires evened out, and it looked like that's exactly what happened. Elwood could get to the bumper, could have made contact there, but he just couldn't get enough to pass him inside or outside. And once again, for me personally, third race in a row that I've been a part of, caution-free. No cautions in that race.
Yep.
And this is what is this? This is now the third race in a row where we have yet to have a caution in the SimSpeedShop Cup Series for incident. So there are the three of David Weisser doing his burnouts once again. He did them. I don't know if he did them last night because it was a fuel mileage race.
Yeah, he did. He was able. He had enough to give us a show.
So there in practice, we saw him drifting down the front stretch. I almost made a comment, Harold, saying, I think he's planning on doing that tonight. Looked like he was doing a little practice run there for potential burnout, potential slide. And nonetheless, he gets it done, winning 2 nights in a row, and that's his second Cup win on the year. We'll get your top 3 finishers up in the booth in a moment. So here we go. Let's start with the race winner, David Weisser. David, it's Hunter, Harold, and Ken in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you had a fuel mileage win last night in the Lodge Box Series. Different strategy here tonight. You had Alan Elwood catching up to you, and it wasn't going to be about fuel. You guys were obviously good to the end. It was about tires and who had the better tires. And Elwood, it seemed like he was going to pass you, but you put up one hell of a fight, keeping him off.
Yeah, it was. I was worried about fuel there at the end. It was. I thought it was going to be pretty close, and then about 5 laps to go, he kind of got within a second of me, and our spotter Dwayne Dunn, he was telling me he was shifting in turns 1 and 3, and I started shifting there. I knew it was going to be close on gas. I actually had more gas in the tank when I finished last night than I did tonight, so. Luckily, we were able to hold him off. I feel like me and him were the class of the field tonight, so one of us deserved to win. He was probably a little better than me. He probably had the better strategy, but this package, you can't pass with the way the arrow works here. So it's unfortunate that you really couldn't race it out like that, but I'll take a win. I know he's upset, but it was fun racing him.
Yeah, it looked like he had everything to gain going down into 1. And then you seemed to pull away a little bit every time you hit the straight. Tunnel turn, you guys were pretty even, but then he'd come back on you. I noticed that you changed up the way you were heading into 3, David. Talk to us about that. Was it just a matter of you're not going to give that inside no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, I didn't hit turn 3 consistently all race. I entered it differently all 80 times. Gotcha. But that last lap there, I didn't want to overdrive it and give up the bottom to him. So I kind of took shallow entry, and because of that, I had to brake harder on entry. And he gave me a bump in 3 there. Wasn't too aggressive there. I know he didn't. Alan, he doesn't want to wreck anybody there. So. But that's all fair. It's coming for the win. So, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like we were going to see another Jeremy Mayfield and Dale Sr. incident there through that last turn. But nonetheless, you held on, got your second win in a row. Is there any shout-outs you want to give out before you head out?
Just want to thank SimSpeedShop for sponsoring the series, and Russ Anderson and Northern Capital for sponsoring us here at Samson, all my teammates, y'all for broadcasting, everybody watching, and yeah, Jacob Bell for doing everything he does for the league.
Alrighty, David. Well, we'll let you go. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Alrighty, that was your race winner, the 3 of David Weisser. Now let's bring up to the booth your second place finisher, Alan Elwood. Alan, this is Hunter, Harold, and Ken in the booth. Got a copy?
I got you, gentlemen.
Boy, it it seemed like you were going to have it there for Weisser at the very end. You definitely had the tires. Catching him was one thing, passing him was another, and you almost moved him out of the way there on the last lap. Take us through those last 5 laps for you.
It just, being a one-off race for me, it reminded me why I don't race in this series, and it was just frustrating because I tried to, on both stints, I tried to go a little bit longer and utilize tires. First run, it did work out. It was kind of a struggle, but it did work out. That second run, I was like, okay, if I can make it work again, we'll be set with 5 to go, probably get there and do something. And when I got to his rear bumper, it's just like you hit that wall of air and there is just nowhere you can go. I thought I was taking care of my tires, but maybe I didn't do enough to get to him that last run. And it just, like, I hit that brick wall and I couldn't, no matter what I did, I couldn't make any more ground than being a 10th behind him. There was nothing there. So frustrating. I did give him a little bit of a bumper, but I know that, it's a one race deal for me just to come in here and have fun. And I'm not going to disrupt somebody that's going for the title. I'm not going to be, that much of a jerk. So, hats off to him. He ran the line that he needed to run. Didn't quite have enough to get him there.
Well, kudos to you for not doing that. You would have had the right to as well, Alan. Biggest thing I was watching is you would gain a crap load going into 1 and you'd gain him on 3. But then in the last couple laps, say the last 2, you could see, and you probably got a good view, he changed his to kind of protect as much as he could. And it looked like anytime you followed in his wake, as you said, it was just a wall. If you were outside of it one way or another, you seemed to have a better run. And I was going to say, I think strategy-wise, Pitt just killed you at the end because you got out a little farther this time than you did the first time around you tried it. Is that about right?
Yeah. I think I was maybe, a few tenths farther out this time. And to your point, that's just enough. If I had been a second closer, I think it'd have been ball game. I think I'd have been able to get past him. But, him changing his line, you guys, I'm sure well enough know with Pocono, it's one groove really.
Yeah.
If you step foot anywhere, 2 tires outside of that groove, there's just nothing out there, and it sucks that it is that way, but it is. So you really can't go up any higher to try and get a run, because otherwise you just lose time, going in through the center off. You're not going to gain anything. So I had to do whatever I could to try shifting and whatnot, and I'm sure. I knew he was aware of that too. I heard him shifting, so you're not really getting much time there either. So you don't really know what to do. It's just Pocono just really doesn't leave you with much.
His spotter gave a heads up and said you were shifting, so those kind of things happen. But he had to do. I mean, as you said, he's running for the championship. He had to defend as best he could. Changing the line, going to shifting helped a little bit. But great run, man. Glad you did a one-off. It was great watching you. And so we're not coming back for 2 weeks. Hunter, let me do this one. You got any shout-outs you want to do, Alan, while you're on with us?
Oh, just first off, thanks to SimSpeedShop for putting on the Cup Series. Giving us everybody that normally races here, myself, everybody that was here tonight, just a place to race on Thursdays. It's a good deal. All the sponsors. Thank you to everybody that puts area in the place that we're in. We got a great group of people that we race with, and it's awesome to come here every night and race. You guys up here in the broadcast booth, appreciate you guys being here every night and putting on the show for the viewers. It's awesome. Appreciate all the guys at VRA tonight. We had an okay showing, not as many cars tonight, so decent points night. But yeah, just like I said, it's a one-off for me, so we'll see how Talladega goes here in a couple weeks on Wednesday. But yeah, just a lot of fun to be out here with these guys tonight.
Yes, and we thank you, Alan, also for your amazing graphic designs that
Yep.
you provide every week for us.
Oh yeah, no, it's my pleasure. This up and coming league, you do whatever you can to help him out, and Jacob does a great job. He's an awesome dude. Congrats to him on graduation today as well. So yeah, just awesome place to race, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy you're here too, and we're happy that you can contribute every week to area and all the leagues that we have. So thank you. Have a good night. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys, and Happy New Year. You guys celebrate safe.
All right, you too. That was Alan Elwood, your second place finisher. Now let's go ahead and get our third place finisher up here. That is Danny Ware. Danny, this is Hunter, Harold, and Ken in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All righty. So this is your third top 5 of the year. I believe this is the first time you've finished in the podium spot. You had a fast car all night. Had a top 5 speed. Looked like it was going to be between you or Weiland for that third spot, but in the end, you edged him out for it. Take us through your night and how your race car handled.
Yeah, I just kind of, off the bat, I just said I was going to ride for a little bit and just see what we had, and we're all kind of the same pace, and over the pit stops, I just kind of fell back a little bit, and me and Eric were just battling out for a little bit, and I was trying to keep him ahead of Tyler for a little bit because he had a little bit of damage, but then eventually I said I had to go see if I could catch Alan and David, but they were just way too fast.
Yeah, they seem to be in another league tonight, but it's good to finally talk to you, Danny. A lot of times it seems like you're there and all of a sudden just the gremlins come up. So glad you're able to talk to us from the podium tonight. Notice that when you were battling Weiland at the end, it was a matter of, okay, I've caught you and now I'm not going to mess with you. I just got to go. Then you held him off. Your car seemed to run pretty good in that last stint. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, I was just trying to ride for a little bit, see what I had, but at the end it was basically you had to go all out to see what you had, and I think I just had a little bit more than Eric, but I think if it kept going, he probably would have caught me a little bit.
Oh, well, you had a great run, and you've had a great season all year round. So this is looking through here, this is your 8th top 10 in 9 races, your 3rd top 5 in those races also. You're the only driver, or I shouldn't say only, sorry. You're the highest driver in points without a win right now. We head to Talladega, Watkins Glen, and Charlotte in the next 3 weeks, and those are being held next year. Which one of those tracks are you more confident in that you could break through and get that win?
Oh, I don't know. Definitely not the road course. I'm terrible at them. Probably Dega because everybody's probably even there. That's probably my best shot. I think. Yeah, Charlotte's going to be weird because there's a bunch of fast guys in here, so probably Dago would be the best track.
Alrighty, well, we'll have to keep an eye on that for the next time we race because it won't be next week. It'll be next year because we'll be racing in 2022. Danny, any shout-outs you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, I like to thank Elwood Designs and Roderick Racing Development, and like to thank Alan for making all the graphics for everything. And I like to thank the VRA crew. I like to thank you broadcasters for doing what you do. And I like to thank Jacob Bell for making all this possible for us.
All right. Well, we thank you for putting on a good show every week for us. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thanks,
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, guys.
All righty. That was 3rd place finisher Danny Ware. Let's go ahead and take a look at your race recap presented by none other than Elwood Designs. So David Weishart gets the job done. He leads the most laps and gets the win. 3rd time in a row for me. 0 cautions in a race. 15 drivers in tonight, and your fastest lap went to none other than Alan Elwood, 53.811. That was brought to you by Elwood Designs. Let's go ahead and take a look at our finishing results. Oh, excuse me, as David Weishart gets the win. Alan Elwood with a close 2nd place finish. Danny Ware 3rd, Eric Weiland 4th, and Garrett Grant rounding out the top 5.
And then you had Tyler Hallman in 6th, Ed Robertson in 7th, Joshua Kanata in 8th, Jacob Bell rounding out 9th, and Garrett Heath brings it in 10th place.
Then 11th is Blair Patterson, 12th Davey Hendricks, 13th Delonte Ballard, 14th Zachary Taylor, and 15th Nate Trito. Alrighty, boys, any final thoughts here from the Tricky Triangle before we head out to another break?
Well, I just got to say is I picked the 3. He comes across. You guys picked 14th and 15th.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
forgot about that. Dang, go on.
So I get one, but that's one. I tell you, I don't believe in curses. I don't believe in bad luck, but the commentator's curse thing definitely happens.
It's real.
I've been doing this too long. You be talking about a guy and how great he does, and all of a sudden he snaps a right turn, and you're like, "What just happened?" And then you hear the guy said, "Well, the computer did this," or the lightning bolt knocked out the transformer. I've had actually a guy disconnected from losing electricity on a night that I broadcasted, and you watch his car go flying off in the corner. So weird things happen. This is computers, but big thing tomorrow night is our charity event that we're doing for the Kentucky area that was affected by I was gonna say hurricane because that's where I'm here, is hurricane area. But the tornadoes that went through there in Mayfield, and you can give to that. I'll put that up here to donate to that. You can also show up and listen and watch in the same Twitch channel tomorrow. I believe we're going to start opening at 8. Probably just do the same things we normally do, 8:40, 8:45. A little bit different formatting. It's going to be dirt tracks. We're going to have heats, and we're going to have a B main, A main. 24 cars will be looking for, the bragging rights of winning that event at USA with the Dirts and Dirt Street Stocks.
Well, that's
Yep,
awesome.
I was going to say, should mention it's $5 to enter into the race, and of course all that money, 100% of it, is going to the American Red Cross, and it hits close to home for none other than our very own Jacob Bell, who is actually in Bowling Green, Kentucky, for quite some time with his internship at his job that he is trying to pursue a career in, and it really hurt him. It really hit home because he lived right in Bowling Green, and many of the places around the place where he lived in temporarily in Bowling Green, a lot of it is destroyed, and some parts of it is just unrecognizable. And we want to do everything that we can here to help out. We've already reached halfway to our goal. Our goal is $1,000. So really, we're just looking to have a good time and to raise a lot of money for a good cause to not only those in Bowling Green, Kentucky, but also in Illinois, Tennessee, and the other states that were affected by that. So tune in tomorrow night. That is where we will be live on the Uriah Twitch channel. And from everyone up here, to Harold Darner, Ken Kushwa, I'm Ira Slebby saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow night.
What an exciting race brought to you by One to Go Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.